Hello all, A Knife's Tale here, bringing you a knife disassembly. I don't know what to call this, honestly. I'm checking on the knife's function. So I just did the review and I did the summary for this knife, and I came to really the conclusion that it's a problem. This knife has a major issue, and that is the stop pin that sits right behind that edge. You can see it. There's the edge, there's the stop pin. Look how close that is. Which is crazy, considering this is a flipper tab, and normally the flipper tab protects you against the stop pin even being placed there, but they managed to squeeze it in, which is not great. But in that video, I had the ponderance that maybe the stop pin is irrelevant. Maybe it's just extra protection, because technically the blade could stop just on the button for the plunge grind, or the plunge lock. So I want to see if I, remove this thing. Why is this not going anywhere? Is it going anywhere? Hello? Hello? It's not going anywhere. Why is it not going anywhere? So I want to see if... Oh, the entire thing's spinning. That would be why. Stop that. There we go. It popped in, so it wasn't captive for a second there. So I want to see what happens if you take that stop pin out. Will this knife still stop? Because it doesn't look like it's going to hit anything. Okay, so I put it back together. Knife came off decently centered. Actually, the knife looks almost center. So maybe it was off center before, but the tip is ground off center. That might just be a hollow grind thing. It does happen with hollow grinds, especially on budget knives. So I think it's the blade itself is mostly center. There's no play. We're solid. Okay, so moment of truth here. Is that stop pin? Because as you can see where it hit, I mean that would definitely cause issues with sharpening very quickly. You don't have a lot of life on this knife at all. Completely integral to this knife. I do have a little bit more play, a little bit of play in here. The blades can go a little bit further than it did before, which makes sense. There's no stop pin stopping it. But it does, I mean, it's not a lot, right? It does then immediately hit on the button. And you can feel the button move a little bit, so it's definitely putting a little bit of torque and pressure on the button that isn't otherwise there. So, I mean, maybe that would cause it to wear in or be a little bit weird. But the button does still hold it in its position. Like, there's no detent lash because of it. It's just it can over travel just a little tiny bit before it hits the button. But the button is holding it in position, in the closed position, and it's still not hitting. So my conclusion here is that this button does in fact serve a this button Jesus The stop pin does serve a purpose. The knife does travel a little bit further, as you can see. But the button itself does stop it from going too far, and it's still well away from any of the the standoffs, and it's certainly not going to come out the other side to cut you or anything like that. I mean, it's still got a considerable amount of distance between it and the actual standoffs. It's not touching at all. It's not even coming close to touching. And it can't really go further than that. So while it might wear on the button, do not have that extra level of protection and stop pin there, this is totally functional without this stop pin. So, I think I was wrong. I have to, well, no. The design is flawed. The stop pin shouldn't be there. The stop pin should definitely be just this stop pin right here. This stop pin should be raised up a little bit with the flipper tab, that little bottom part right here at the front of the flipper tab, extended out to act as to hit this in the closed position, and just have this stop pin be just a little bit higher up into the blade, right? I mean, see how deep it is on the blade? If this is just, hold on, I need something to point with. If this were to just be slightly higher up, it wouldn't really affect anything. It just wouldn't garage as deeply into the blade. That wouldn't be a problem. Stop pin would just be slightly higher up, and your cut in would just end up being, you know, here instead of down here. And then the flipper tab could then be used as what contacts the stop pin. That would completely fix any complete issue, and that would technically be a better knife and a more refined, proper design. However, this stop pin appears to just be unnecessary. I mean, if it clicks like this in your pocket, who cares? It's not got detent lash. And it doesn't seem to be doing anything major, like damage-wise, to the button. It does make the snappy detent a little less satisfying, but it still sucks it in really nicely. Because it's not, you know, you're not getting that clack. So I'm going to have to apologize on this one. The design has an issue, but it is not in fact an issue. Which is kind of weird to say. Right? It's a negative of the design. Like any other time, this would definitely be a problem. And if the knife was just using a detent ball as its stop, it would 100% be a problem. You couldn't remove the stop pin then. But because there is a post there, it's fine without the stop pin, and therefore you don't have a sharpening issue. So, the Incindie has redeemed itself, even if it is technically flawed. And you know what? I'm not even going to put these back in. Maybe I'll even do another update on this thing once I've carried it and used it without the stop pin. See if it develops an issue. See if it hitting the button and put pressure on there actually causes an issue. Maybe I'll do like a down the road update. But I think all the issues here are gone. And that would just make this a good knife. So, maybe sharpening issues are not a problem. And then, in which case, this just the standard plunge grind, which is, I mean, it stops here, which is funny, because the plunge grind actually stopped after the freaking stop pin was going to hit anyway. Like, the stop pin was completely in front of the plunge grind. So, other than, I guess, the misgrind from the hollow, yeah, I think the blade is centered here. As you can see, the spacing on the blade's good pretty much the entire way around. So it's just a grind issue on the hollow because it gets so thin up here. That happens with hollows. Let's be honest. So, yeah. My apologies. This is a fine knife as far as I can tell. I will make an effort to carry and use this thing a bit to see if it develops any actual issues. But the Incindie might actually be fine. So, yeah. Glad I did the experiment. That's interesting. Here's hoping. Because it's a nice knife. I'll see you in the next one. Guys, I really appreciate anybody watching, and I hope... I mean, this is a kind of a different kind of... Yeah, I'm really having issues with talking today. It's really bugging me. You'll see that over the course of a couple videos that I'll probably be releasing around the same time. This is a different kind of video, and I don't know if... I like to think that there's not a whole lot of people out there doing this particular video to test this. So maybe I brought something unique and different. Which would be kind of nice and fun and cool. And maybe it justifies a subscription. Ha 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 ha! I worked it in. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.